TikTok. You know who else is on TikTok, right?
I do.
Sitting in my mobile coffee shop,
making videos about my transvestite children for TikTok.
Of course, we're talking about Daniel Alexander, a man that we refer to as Woke Dad on this show.
Yep.
He's the greatest. He's Jesus-like.
Oh, in many ways.
Yeah. He's,
Yeah.
Someday there'll be a religion that forms around him, probably 100 years from now, where disciples will say, I learned about how to live life the right way from watching Dan's TikTok videos.
And we will reach true utopia.
Yes,
because he has such a peaceful message.
Because it's all about love and caring and prosperity, which is great.
Yeah. And original ideas that other people haven't thought of. No one's thought like, hey, just be nice to each other. That's profound.
No one's ever thought of that before. And so Mike is on this beat. He finds these videos. And this one, I didn't think it would come to this. I'll be honest with you. He brags about a lot of things. He brags about his ceramics. He brags about his kids. He brags about his ability as a father, his art
Every
studio.
once in a while, he has to remind us how much of a man he is.
That's right.
He is all man and all hetero.
Cis, baby. He's so fucking cis and hetero. Watch out.
What an interestingly odd statement. I'm a feminist.
Okay, so the comment he's responding to is feminist equals penis envy. Surprised you don't have green hair and a nose ring.
He's gonna obviously that's something
I'm
like
some
people would just slough off.
What an interesting.
I'm sorry, this thing was sputtering. What'd you say?
You might just slough that off as a who gives a fuck comment. This commenter probably has never even seen Daniel's penis.
You would think, right? Yeah, no.
Odd statement. I'm a feminist, and I definitely don't have penis envy. I mean, I've got one of my own, and I'm not worried about what other dudes have in their pants. That's just freaking weird.
Hold on.
It's kind of your whole thing.
That's kind of his whole thing. What other people have in their pants, he's worried about legislation around that.
What his life is based on.
It's his life is based on what you're packing in your pants and how you identify based on what you're packing in your pants.
Right. It's actually of the utmost importance how you identify. And
that'd be weird if I cared about that.
Imagine if I had a cock and thought I was a lady and that was my entire...
Yeah, right, yeah. That'd be weird, right?
I cannot relate. My partner certainly doesn't complain, but that's probably because I know what the female anatomy looks like. I know what parts and pieces make her squirm because I'm a feminist. Funny how that works. What an interesting...
What do they call him? G-Spot McGee over here?
I know what gets her to come.
Yeah, good for you, Dad. I love that he goes, hey, guys, you can talk about my penis, but my girlfriend isn't complaining. Well, not to you. Ask her girlfriends. Right. That's how you find out. She's not going to tell you anything about it.
That just as the last 3 wives that have left me.
Right.
They all seem perfectly satisfied as well. But this is what it all boils down to at the end of the day. When Daniel doesn't realize, he's like, hey, whatever you identify as is cool. It's like, there's something in men who were born men that no matter how progressive you are, no matter how open-minded you are, and everyone's equal, and I expect joy, kindness, all that happy horse shit. If someone insults you, you go right to, yeah, well, I fuck my wife really well.
I can't believe he's bragging about his dick. Has he jumped the shark? This is not on brand for this guy.
I love when he gets hetero on us. Like, hey, listen, every human being is equal, and I don't even look at gender, and we're all fluid. But I gave my wife a good stuffing last night, and oh, was she squirming around? That bitch was moaning. Oh, the neighbors could hear it.
If I could play you the noises that were coming out of her mouth, you wouldn't believe it was a human. You would think it was a wild animal when I was making this woman yell.
I own 2 things, a mobile coffee shop and that pussy.
That's so weird. But we love you, Dan. That's great.
And an art studio. Sorry, 3 things.
This one, I actually watched this video. I went on Drew's show this week, and I always check in on some Woke Dad because Drew Lane loves Woke Dad.
Yes.
And I watched this video and I went, I don't want to bring this to Drew's show, but I'm glad that you brought this
Oh, okay.
to our show because there's a pile-on going on. I don't know how closely you're following politics, but Chuck Schumer had this opportunity to not vote.
I know nothing about this. I thought it was totally random.
No. He had this opportunity to not vote with the Republicans and have a government shutdown because the Republicans had this bill that was going to keep funding the government. And everyone thought, like, here's an opportunity to shut the government down and show that Trump bad and all this stuff. And Chuck Schumer was going to do it. And then he decided, no, I'm going to.
I was like, holy shit, is he criticizing a Democrat? What the hell happened?
Yeah, I know. So people were like mad at Chuck Schumer. Democrats are mad at Chuck Schumer.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden Dan's like, funny you guys don't like Chuck Schumer. I got a little story
What are the chances?
to tell you about that.
I have only ever had one real life interaction with Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, and it did not put a good taste in my mouth. I was pretty off put by it.
My
but I've
wife
always
put in
been
my mouth last
reluctant
night
to
when I was
share this
fucking
story
her.
because
Hey, I wish that he would tie that into every video from now on.
I don't want to tell you what she was gagging on.
Hey guys, you wouldn't want to smell my dick right now. But anyway, Chuck Schumer.
honestly,
Daniel's catchphrase is
we were in
smell
Manhattan.
my fingers. Anyways, back to the
Guess
trends.
which hole these were in.
Could have been wrong place, wrong time. Could have been because it was busy. And he's always voted in a way that supports people, that takes care of people. So I figured, why share this story? I don't want to do any harm when he is not actually actively doing any harm. But after today's vote, I think maybe this is just who he is. And I think it's important that other people hear this. So it was the beginning of the Manhattan Pride Parade,
Forgot how long this buildup
2023.
was.
Yeah, it's a lot.
We were there. Me and my kids were there because we got the Trans Safe Haven bill passed into law. We were invited by the senator who sponsored that bill.
Him and the kids.
We were there to
I know.
No one else. Just him and a group of children.
This trans safe haven bill, I'd love to get your producer Craig on the show to chat about this.
I'm sure he has some thoughts.
Dude, it's fucking crazy. I don't think this is going to be looked at historically the way that Dan thinks it's going to be looked at.
No?
It's basically
integrating schools.
It's basically genital mutilation of children is legal in New York, and if you send children from another state here, they can do that, and the state that like says like you shouldn't like mutilate children's genitals can't do anything about it.
Little Rock, Arkansas, and wherever Dan's kids go to school.
It's the craziest shit. We live in weird times. But anyway, getting back to this and how amazing this guy is for forcing puberty blockers on 13-year-olds. It's great stuff, Dan.
there to stand in front of the governor. She signed that bill into law. And right after she signed that bill into law, Chuck Schumer comes wandering by and is sort of forcibly removing people around the senator so that he can be there for a photo shoot. And it felt a little off-putting in the moment that he was just sort of shooing people aside that actually had a lot to do with this bill, with getting this bill passed into law. But I didn't think much of it. I thought, publicity, and it's important publicity. This bill protects the trans community in the state of New York, and he's a New York State senator, so it made sense to me.
Right.
He didn't walk with us in the parade.
What?
He didn't partake in any of the parade. It was a hot day. I totally understood, but he did the same.
I love it. Just like, the temperature wise, I get it. You don't want to be in a parade.
I mean, it was the dog days of summer. An
idiot.
I forgot. I don't know why I
Yeah.
found this interesting. I forgot how exhausting a
Oh
story
yeah,
it was.
that's why I didn't play this.
He's a terrible storyteller.
He's so bad at this. He's like, now Chuck Schumer was there for a photo opportunity, which I get, makes sense. All right.
Well, let me go back and vote. Chuck Schumer was born in 1954.
I know. This is for 2 minutes in. Why are you mad at this guy? What's going on?
Of the parade. He was just there for the photo shoot. I was like, he didn't do any of the work, but he wanted some of the credit. That always left a really bad taste in my mouth. I haven't talked about it a ton, but my closest friends, I've shared that with them.
He was
Boring.
raped.
And now I'm just thinking, maybe that's who he is. Maybe he's just here for the photo shoot.
I got really bad
story.
news. I got really bad news for you, Dan. All the other politicians that he used to like, same thing.
But not only that, yes. First of all, oh my God, he's a politician. Could you believe that?
Can you believe it?
It's like a little kid, like learning your superheroes might be arrogant. You know what I mean? Like some fucking athlete. Oh my God, he has a bit of an ego on him.
Michael Jordan has a gambling problem? What?
Daniel can't believe it. But the other thing is, like, he's talking about this man as if like he did some horrible atrocity.
Right.
And he's like, he was there for the photo op.
Not for the right reasons.
As if, and I'm sure he hears all of our jaws hitting the floor around the country.
It's like, not Chuck Schumer.
I'm not a political guy, so you might have to get like one of the people in the chat. I'm sure they could tell you a few worse Chuck Schumer stories.
No shit.
Then he was there for a photo opportunity.
Yeah. Okay. So he agreed with your cause and was going along with it? Yeah. But he didn't
if
put
you
a lot of work
introduce
into
that to Trump might even be like, well, that one's not so bad. But the other things he's done.
Right. It's the worst story ever. Like, oh, well, then I don't like Chuck Schumer anymore. Good call. Smart. Dude,
And he held on to this for how many years, you know?
Well, right. He had to wait till the pylon was happening.
Yeah.
And then he's just like, oh, I got a Chuck Schumer anecdote. Watch out.
Yeah.
This is a fantastic. You found a classic. This is from like, what, 4 years ago?
Yeah, we haven't been getting the signature Dan that I love so much. So I've gone, my thumbs hurt after a little while, but I've scrolled a few back into the Dan catalog and gone to before we started covering him. And boy, is it a doozy. Now he's gotten very political. There's a lot of things like I just played. I spare you of that every week, where he's just ranting about politics.
That's a lot of that, yes.
Back in the day, he put out all bangers. I liked his old stuff better, you know? Like,
Yep.
Back in the day, he was putting out hit after hit. You could click on any video, and it's what we're about to watch, basically.
He is the Pearl Jam of TikTok.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
There's a couple that are good here and there, but
Yeah.
the first 3 albums is what
Magnificent.
what it's all about.
So every Sunday I used to do something called Draw Me Sundays. And Draw Me Sundays were pretty literally just times when I picked a creator at random from my comment section. Well, and then I'd go ahead and I'd draw them. Let me tell you why I stopped that, though. To illustrate this, no pun intended.
All right. Let's start with that setup.
The
He
really
said-
funny illustrated pun.
Every Sunday, he would draw a random creator.
Yeah.
And he says, let me tell you why I stopped doing that. I'm telling you, this story makes no sense.
Oh, that's even more interesting.
Yeah. I mean, like, well, you know where this is going.
Yeah. That's even more baffling.
When I tell you this story makes no sense, I have multiple reasons why this is just a flat out lie. What he's saying here.
Well, to illustrate this, no pun intended, I'd like to share with you a story. So right around 10th grade of high school, I was drawing one day, and a girl that I was friends with came up to me and asked if I would draw what I was drawing on the paper on her arm. So I went ahead during one of our study halls and I drew it on her arm. And everybody thought it was the coolest thing ever. Everybody wanted me to do the same thing.
You buying this so far, Mike?
Yeah, obviously. It was the craze. First of all,
10th grade.
that's a very natural conversation. Hey, I see you have a drawing there. Would you draw it on my arm? And then, of course, the drawing on her arm is just as perfect as the one on a flat sheet of paper.
Yep.
And everyone looked at it and said, my word, Michelangelo? Who did this?
How do you have such an amazing art piece? Do you know Hunter Biden? How is this possible?
That's magnificent. Magic marker on skin really suits you well.
So I did as many as I could. I drew on my friends' arms. I drew different cool things, and they all looked like tattoos, and everybody thought it was cool.
Awesome.
Here's the thing, though. I graduated in a class of about 500 kids, which meant there were a couple thousand kids in my high school.
Mike, this is my favorite. This might be my favorite Woke Dad video of all time. This is so fucking incredible.
We'll do the math.
It starts off with he, Chicken Study Hall is just like, wow, you're a good artist. You draw it on my arm. He goes, yeah, I'll do that. And then everyone's like, holy shit. Did you guys notice that Becky is way more popular ever since she got that drawing on her arm?
Yeah.
We all need to be like Becky.
Yeah. roughly 2,000 students.
Yes. All went, how can we be like Becky?
Yeah.
And Dan's just one tattoo artist at this point.
And I went to my graduating class was 225, so much less than half the size of Daniel's. You know how much the freshmen and seniors always interacted with each other. You know what I mean? Like
yes.
every class, we knew, thick as thieves, every single person in the school. So a school more than double that, I imagine, is the same.
Yes, 14-year-olds, 18-year-olds are all thinking the same thing.
Yep.
It's how high school works.
And since everybody wanted me to draw on them, and I couldn't draw on everybody, I drew on those that were closest to me first.
Right.
Well, some people didn't like that. People started to get offended, and I started to get bullied because of it. And
Mike.
Which started a war.
he started to get bullied because like, why won't you give me a tattoo, asshole?
All right,
get in line.
Now I think you're a loser for that and only that reason.
Can I tell you who got bullied in this scenario, if any of this is true? The kids who got drawings on their arms from Dan. That's who, again, honestly, I think he's like trying to recreate a story where, kids were getting their heads dunked in toilets, but it wasn't because you weren't drawing on their arm. It was the kid who did get their arms drawn on.
I wonder if it's just that like Dan doesn't understand sarcasm and the kids bullying him were like, oh, you're going to draw one of your gay little fucking things on my arm? And he's like, oh, they must really want it.
Yeah. None of this makes any sense. Dan is younger than I am. Like I went to high school around the same time. This would not happen. This is retarded.
It couldn't happen in any generation.
No.
The word would travel of this man's great art. And then when one person was denied, which he doesn't really explain why, he's not saying no. He's just like,
time to fuck up Dan. He's not going to do a tattoo for me. Let's go.
But here's the thing. He's doing it to the people closest to him. He's not rejecting other people.
Right.
He just simply doesn't have time.
Prioritizing. Yeah, he's prioritizing.
So when someone says like, hey, Dan, I really need that art. And he's like, I'll get to you eventually. They're like, loser, it's swirly time.
Let's beat his ass. He's not going to do mine until Thursday.
just stopped doing it. I stopped doing it because people were being mean about me doing a kind act for free. So
that is the dumbest story I've ever heard. That is the dumbest shit.
Well, I thought it was dumb until you pointed out to me that's why he doesn't do drawings as an adult.
Yeah, he said, I used to do this thing where I would draw other creators. Let me tell you why I don't. I got bullied in high school. What? How does that work?
But he started, again, knowing that story existed.
Right. Oh, Dan, we love you, buddy. Keep it up, man. You got to get back to your greatest hits. Yeah, come back. Now that everyone's paying attention, you got to get back to your greatest hits. Here's another one from the past.
So this last, I just picked a random one.
Yeah.
This is very similar to Keenan Bank. I think he was actually first to that style of video. And he has the music and everything in the background. And I'll explain more later, but this is just an act of kindness that he's doing.
All right, here we go.
Hello and welcome to day 4 of Kind 365. Kind 365 is my commitment to doing one kind act every day for 365 days. Again, today is day 4, and every ounce of kindness that I have today is going towards my kiddos. They just lost their kitty, and I am supporting them and loving them and showering them with as much kindness as I can. Just remember that sometimes those acts of kindness that you need to share with the world, those go to somebody closest to you because they are the most in need. Hello and welcome.
So that might seem like literally nothing to you, that he's like, my act of kindness for the day was I didn't yell at my kids because they lost their cat.
Right. Like something that you would do regardless of whether you're doing a kindness 365 or not.
But so that seems very mild. But
yeah,
over the course of 365 days, there's going to be peaks and valleys. I don't listen. Daniel Alexander is just a man at the end of the day. I understand he does a lot of great, but some days are going to be better than others.
Right. So the Chiefs barely beat the Broncos, but they still made it to the Super Bowl.
Exactly. Yes. Right. If you dissect every single win,
right,
there were a few duds. But I scrolled for a while. He got to day 10. He gave up.
he didn't make it to 365, huh?
There was no announcement of an ending. It was just those videos disappeared.
So what? No one's cat died. He couldn't figure out another thing he could do for someone. Like, how am I going to be kind to people? No one even died today.
Which
Fuck.
shows you how lazy Daniel is, because that's his whole thing. And that style of video got very popular.
Right.
All he had to do every day is film himself being like, "Hey, you know what? That coffee on the house."
Yeah, act of kindness. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all it takes.
Go to blindmike.com for Blind Mike, or go to whoarethese.com for KARL, and make sure you subscribe to both channels, or there will be no banter.